while back, I was getting one of my routine deep tissue massages. Now, if you've ever had a real deep tissue massage, you know it's not necessarily the relaxing spa music, cucumber water experience. It's more like someone slowly discovering all your life choices with their elbow. So, there I am, face down, trying to breathe through the discomfort, when my massage therapist says something I'll never forget. We were talking about injuries, how they happen, how they linger, how they heal. And she said something. Usually, the intensity with which the injury occurs is the intensity with which the healing must occur as well. In other words, however much it hurt to get injured, it's probably going to hurt about that much to heal it. And I remember thinking, I don't like that. I don't like it at all. Because if we're honest, especially in our culture, we want healing without any pain. We want the shortcut, the pill, the hack. We want to feel better without going through the uncomfortable part. But that's not usually how healing works. I've seen this play out in the physical world for years. In the corporate office I work in, I've seen guys in their 40s, 50s, or 60s hobbling around sometimes. And I'd ask, hey, what happened? It's an old injury. Like, how old? I twisted my ankle like 20 years ago. Must have torn something. It's never been right since. 20 years? Or, I blew out my back in college. Did you get fixed? Well, no, it would have required surgery and rehab and time off, so I just never did. So instead, they just limp along for like 3 decades. And I think, is it really that bad to endure 6 to 8 hard weeks to gain 30 good years? But here's the harder truth. This isn't just about ankles and backs. It's also about heartbreaks or childhood trauma or betrayal or shame. Some people are wounded deeply when they were young, and what happened to them, it wasn't their fault. But at some point, if healing is going to happen, responsibility for that shifts. Not the blame, but the responsibility. There's a difference. You didn't choose the injury or the trauma, but you do choose whether you treat it. And treating it, well, it might hurt or cause pain. It might look like therapy or honest conversations. It might look like journaling about something you've spent 20 years trying not to think about. It might look like surgery, physical therapy, and rehab. It might mean sitting in a room and saying out loud what happened and realizing it wasn't your fault. And that can feel just as intense as the original injury. So instead, what do? We cope, we numb, we avoid, we distract. We say, I'm fine. And we throw ourselves into work. We scroll, we drink, we overachieve, we underfeel. Anything to avoid walking back into the pain. Because going back in, it feels terrifying. But here's what I've learned, both from that massage table and from life. The way out is through. If you've ever had a knot worked in your shoulder, you know this. The therapist, they might work around it, but at some point, they're going to hit that tight spot right on the number of the target. And they go straight into it. And for a moment, it feels horrible. Way, way, way worse. But on the other side of it, there's relief, mobility, freedom. Healing often requires revisiting the site of the injury, but this time with support. If you were physically injured, say like hit by a car, you wouldn't expect healing without surgery, stitches, rehab, etc. So why would we expect emotional healing to be any easier? Why do we think we can carry a 25-year-old wound and it just won't affect how we love, trust, lead, parent, or show up in the world? Here's the hopeful part. Healing is possible. Maybe you'll always have a scar. Maybe there's a slight limp in your story. Maybe you carry a chip on your shoulder. But could most of the pain be reduced? Absolutely. I have seen people who did the hard work, therapy, accountability, community, spiritual growth, and they're lighter, they're clearer, they're freer. Not because their story changed, but because they faced it. So here's my challenge to you. If there's something you've been putting off, a conversation, a doctor's visit, a counseling appointment, that hard truth, Consider this your nudge. Don't limp around for 30 years if 6 months of work could change your life. Don't numb what needs to be healed. So pick up the phone, call someone you trust, book the appointment, start the journal, and have the hard conversation. Yes, it probably will hurt, maybe as much as whatever it is that caused it. But remember what my massage therapist said. The intensity of the healing often matches the intensity of the injury. And on the other side of that intensity is strength, freedom, and a version of you that isn't just coping, but living, truly living. So remember, more often than not, the way out is through.